With the 8th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select Rob Dillingham from the University of Kentucky.
Now, I'm not sure if this was the right move for the Spurs, but they got Chris Paul. The Spurs just endured one of the worst seasons in franchise history, but their future is undeniably bright. Last year, they selected Victor Wembanyama, one of the most hyped up prospects in recent memory. He proved to the NBA that he is the future. Entering this year's drafts, the Spurs held 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. With their first-round selections, they chose Stephon Castle and Rob Dillingham. However, they traded Dillingham to the Timberwolves for 2 future first-round picks. While I don't necessarily agree with this move, the Spurs secured a guard in Castle to help Wembanyama flourish in his early years. Although Castle could be a solid addition, I think what they are trying to do in the near future is trade for a guard that can pass the ball efficiently. Last season, Wembanyama was spectacular, but it seemed like his teammates were more focused on scoring than facilitating. Crazy enough, the Spurs signed Chris Paul to a deal after the Warriors let him go in free agency. Paul knows he's not worth the max contract anymore, but he will be a great pairing for Wemby. It doesn't seem like CP3 will be a long-term option for the Spurs, but it will be fun watching this duo in play. As everyone knows, Chris Paul was amazing at playmaking his whole career. The Spurs might target a player like Darius Garland or even Trae Young. Though Young seems like a long shot, Garland appears to be one of the most reasonable options, as he is known as a playmaker. The Spurs might not trade for him this offseason, but they clearly aim to be in the playoff picture, while rebuilding and acquiring better assets to surround Wembanyama. Acquiring Garland would likely require giving up a significant amount to cover his $39 million contract. The Spurs could definitely go a different route, but I think for the future, this is their best bet. But they are wanting to upgrade their guards because Wembanyama wants to win. Picking up Garland in the next few years would be very smart because it would free up space and bring a well-developed guard to help Victor finally get the teammate that shares the ball. I don't see what's wrong with this because the Cavs just got eliminated in the second round of the playoffs, and I don't think that team can get much better with the pieces that they have. The Spurs also have a lot of room to work with, as they have a ton of future draft picks. I'm not sure what the Spurs would be willing to give up, but they have made it clear they want to win and change this team around. Chris Paul is a great signing, but for the long term, San Antonio will obviously do whatever it takes as long as Wemby is satisfied. Looking ahead, the Spurs have a lot of draft picks, including 4 first-round picks. They need better playmaking and shooting, so drafting forwards or perhaps even another guard would be very logical. But their defense is very lackluster without Wembanyama on the floor. Their defensive rating with him is 116.7, and without him, it's 119.6. This offseason, the Spurs will likely prioritize shooting and playmaking and focus on developing their defense over the next few seasons. However, they need to get a backup center and better two-way players in the future. But in the 71 games Wemby played, he proved all haters wrong, showcasing his alien-like ability on both ends of the court. Victor is the future of this Spurs team, and we all know it. However, one concern could arise in the near future. Victor's health could always be a problem for this team. The Spurs are aware of this, and they will be seeking a backup center in the future. And we've seen a similar situation with the Celtics, who have Kristaps Porzingis. Like Wemby, he is an injury-prone player, and that's why the Celtics have Al Horford. The Spurs could adopt a similar strategy for Wembanyama. Just in case he gets injured, it's seems like Victor prioritizes his health, but that doesn't rule out this concern. Another player the Spurs are trying to develop is Devin Vassell, who just came off the best season of his career, and his future is definitely bright. While he may not become a pass-first guard that Wemby needs, the Spurs can continue to develop his all-around game. And if they are able to bring in a guard like Darius Garland in the future, this team will be looking scary. Now, for this, they might need to trade Keldon Johnson, which is unfortunate because just a season ago, he was an all-star caliber player. Johnson's playstyle may not fit with the current Spurs roster, so the Spurs will likely have to decide between either Johnson or Vassell, as both players are ball dominant and rely on isolation plays. And having the two next to Wemby on the same team will not work. So the Spurs have a decision to make in the near future. You can see Wemby doesn't fit teammates whose main focus is individual scoring. Wemby prioritizes winning, and San Antonio is crafting a master plan for his career. I just hope the Spurs don't rush the rebuilding process like the Cavs did when they drafted LeBron. Wemby just had one of the most remarkable seasons of all time, and this graph proves this, showing some of the best rookie seasons in NBA history. The stat shown is player efficiency rating, basically just displaying how efficient a player was to their team. At the bottom are some solid rookie seasons with Hakeem and Magic Johnson. Towards the middle, you will see Kareem and Karl Anthony Towns. And at the top are some of the best rookie seasons with David Robinson and Wilt Chamberlain. And here is where Wemby ranks. At the number 9 spot, he has a PER of 23.1. Victor played under 30 minutes a game and still ranks this high all time. I find this crazy, but I just hope the Spurs rebuild correctly and make the right moves. They have all the chances to, but only time will tell. And with the addition of Chris Paul, I can't see him fitting this team long term, but the Spurs might find themselves making the playoffs. Do you guys think this will happen? Regardless, Wemby is ready for this next NBA season, and the NBA offseason so far has been absolutely insane. But the future of the Spurs is quite telling. The Spurs have multiple issues. They lack defense, depth, a future cornerstone point guard to put next to Victor, and a backup center. Their rebuilding process should take more than 1 year, but what do you guys think the Spurs will do? And what does the future look like for this team? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing, as we are almost to 500 subscribers, and that's amazing. Have a fabulous day, and God bless.